What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing the latest expansion for the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. This is the Dwellers in Darkness figure pack, which was designed by Nathan Hajek and Grace Holdinghaus, the designers of the base game. Now, it is, of course, once again published by Fantasy Flight Games. We will also be reviewing the digital expansion that was released, The Haunting of Dale, which is a new, I believe it's a 13 mission campaign. Now we are currently on the last mission. It is the 9th mission. There are some branching paths to the campaign, so you'll probably experience it a little differently depending on the choices you make. Now with that being said, Julie's going to tell you more about the game itself.
So like the game it's based on, it's a cooperative game. It's intended for ages 14 and above, I guess.
Yeah.
1 to 5 players, and each campaign plays in about 60 minutes. Can be longer, can be a little shorter. Depends on the choices you make.
Yes, and if you're wondering why she thought it was for ages 1, well, we have our 6-month-old that tries to help us play the game, but usually the cards just go everywhere. But, I mean, if he could press the iPad, he might be able to play with us. I don't know.
A little young still.
So what are you going to be doing in the Dwellers in Darkness expansion? Well, this is just a figure pack, so you're not actually going to be doing anything without the base game. In the Haunting of Dale, the new campaign, you will be searching through the city of Dale to find evidence of a shade and dark dealings. After that, you must then stop the shade from conquering Dale. And that's about all I can say without spoilers, don't you think?
Agreed.
All right, so shall we? What do we got to do now?
We got to take it.
I almost stole our line, sorry.
Yeah, we're going to grab our drinks.
Yes.
Grab our fellowship.
Our friend and fellow. Friend and fellow, I like that one. Member of the fellowship.
We're going to take it to the table one more time.
One more time. Let's defeat Ursa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get into our review for The Haunting of Dale, we're going to take a look at the new components that were released for the Dwellers in Darkness figure pack that serves to add some new content in for the campaign, as well as figures for The Haunting of Dale, as well as Shadowed Path. So the first figure we have is the Supplicant of Morgoth. Got some nice detail on the figure. Very easy to add into the game. We've got Ollie, this named ogre, who I believe is just in The Haunting of Dale. Then lastly, we've got Ursa, who looks to be the main villain for The Haunting of Dale. Same quality miniatures that you're going to be getting throughout the game. Now on the back of this insert sheet, just have instructions how to add these figures as well as the new cards into the campaign. So we'll take a look at the titles first. We've got Undying, which is when you would perform a last stand. You may remove the skill from the adventure to gain 2 inspiration and discard 1 damage and 1 fear. We've got Sly Tongue, which means before you test, you may remove the skill from the adventure to test a stat of your choice. And Scout 1, which is pretty cool. You can also just discard it to Scout 1. And Spirit Bonded, during your turn, you may remove the skill from the adventure to add a smite to an attack, or you can discard it to gain hide. We have the Circlet, which is a new item. So this will increase your inspiration limit by 1. I was going to say from 1. So by 1. When you perform a spirit test, you may deplete this item to prepare 1 card from the test. Now, this Silver Circlet, it has the same text, except you may deplete it twice. And then when you take a look at the 7 Flame Crown, your inspiration limit goes up by 2. And when you perform the Spirit test, it's still just 1 card. Now, we have another knife added to the game. So, same stats as the previous knife. I said knight. So, 1 success to its pierce, 2 successes to its lethal. Now, this new upgraded version we have is the Lindish Knife, which means before you attack, you can look at the top card of your deck. If it's a card with a fate symbol, you can add 2 hits to the attack. Pretty good knife, especially if you've got a lot of fate cards in your deck. So 1 success is 3 hits pierce, 2 successes is 2 hits lethal. And then The final upgrade, the Lasamaica. Before you attack, look at the top card of your deck. If it's a card with Fate, once again, you get to add 2 hits. 1 success is 3 hits pierce, and 2 successes are 3 hits lethal. So there you have it. These are all the components for the Dwellers in Darkness figure pack. Now keep it right here as Julie and I will discuss the value of these contents, as well as give you our full campaign review for the Haunting of Dale. Keep it right here. We'll be back in a flash. Now, before we get into our thoughts on Dwellers in Darkness as well as the Haunting of Dale, we're just going to explain what we will be doing. We'll talk about the figure pack, and then we're going to talk about the campaign. We both discussed it, and we agree we're going to give a rating for both together. Once we discuss our thoughts on the figure pack, they are definitely intricately tied together. You don't need it for Shadowed Past, but if you can get it, it does, add that one figure, the Supplicant of Morgoth. So you do get a little something for Shadowed Path, but you need it for Haunting of Dale. So with that being said, Dwellers in Darkness, what did you think of this figure pack?
Well, I mean, Ollie definitely figured.
Yes.
He is
the big nasty troll.
Quite the troll. And obviously Ursa figures front and center. I always love having the minis, so it's nice having, the appropriate mini and not just, another
we use the Shadow Man who were used to replace Ursa, or when there was multiple shades and she's hiding. That's what we used. So if you don't have it, I'd assume she'd be that or maybe a white.
I mean, so it's nice to have those additional figures. I mean, like I said, Ollie definitely figures. So. That's all I really have to say about them. I think.
Well, what about the daggers? Because we do get the 9 new cards.
You talked about the figures. I mean,
I said the figure pack. The pack includes the cards.
Yeah. So the knives are cool. It always feels like it takes forever to get up to those level 3 cards, but then once you're there, you can wreck shop. So it's a lot of fun. The knives are definitely great. There wasn't really anything that I couldn't plow my way through with those knives, with lethal and pierce. Yeah,
you played Arwen, and now you got to feel what it was like. You were looking at me like, I'm a healer, but I'm killing everything.
Well, the knives combined with the sling, combined with the garb that did damage as well, I definitely could wreck shop towards the end there. Especially when you had that new ability on the knife that you get an extra 2 hits, pretty much, almost guaranteed. Yeah, as long as you have a faith token, basically. A faith token. And then we had the new titles. You do get some titles that are included, and they're just given to you by the game. Once you complete a mission that has the base requirements, that title will be assigned to one of your heroes. It's really designed to make the campaign a much smoother experience. You got the one that gave you Smite. Yeah, well, there was Nemesis that allowed me to stop Ursa, basically, in her track. It was an elite, but we used it against Ursa. As well as Ollie one time. Did I? Yeah, you did, because you didn't want to smash her in the face. Okay. Yeah, and then the other one, I can't remember what. Was the one that gave you Smite? Yeah, I remember that, but I couldn't remember what it was. No, the other one, it was the one that I got for, you get it early on. It's actually the first title for dealing with the council. It was the Silver Tongue, which actually was a very nice title. That's not the circlet. You only got the Silver Tongue. Oh, yeah. Tongue, yes. Which is what I got, the circlet. I actually got the same time, actually. Which you get after the first mission, which lets you basically test a different skill than the one that you would actually be testing, which was really cool. And then we did get the circlets, which were included in the game, and that was a crucial boon, actually, because when you test Spirit, it lets you prepare an extra card. It felt very thematic to what was going on and to get that gift from the king. Now, I'd assume that if you don't have the Dwellers in Darkness expansion, you just won't get that circlet at all. So I definitely think that you are missing something if you're playing the Haunting of Dale without the Dwellers in Darkness expansion. Now, the expansion was $10 Canadian. I think it's about $7 US. I get why Fantasy Flight has them separate. Because you can just play Haunting of Dale you don't need to go get the figure pack. I would like to see somewhere that they're maybe tied together. But I guess it's not necessarily, I don't know.
maybe because we had to wait to get the figure pack. Thank you, 2020, with everything being a little messed up and not arriving on time. So that irritated me a little. But I know that most of the friendly local game stores did get the figure pack on time. I would say, though, if you're thinking about starting Haunting of Dale and you have an opportunity to get the figure pack, you'll want the new knives, you're going to want the figures, and for about a $20 value, you're definitely getting your money's worth. I mean, for our Imperial Assault and Descent expansions that we have, you'd be paying about $15 for one figure. You're getting 3 plus the 9 new cards that are going to be going into the game.
I'm ready to talk about the campaign.
Yes. So the Haunting of Dale. Now we'll go back to our usual style of review. The Haunting of Dale. What did you think of this campaign for Journeys in Middle-earth?
It's definitely more of the same great story. There's a lot of nice storytelling in it, and I enjoyed the story. I thought it was good, and I like the fact that the choices you make, obviously you can't do everything, and you have to make choices, and the choices you make have an impact at the end. I can keep it fairly short and sweet in saying like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the different campaigns and the choices we made. I played with Arwen and Dis. We even did an all-female fellowship. It was pretty cool.
Yes, we did. We actually played the 2 characters that we have not played. I took Elena, the musician from the base game, who hadn't hit the table yet, and Julie took on the role of Diz.
So I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I liked the different scenarios and the different places that it took us. I really felt like I was in Lord of the Rings. It's the continuation of the story. Basically, it feels like we've been playing, and we get a lot of content. I don't know how many hours we played. 15, 18?
Well, I would say that the game does say it is 60 minutes plus. I would say on average we were probably playing 90 minutes. So 90 minutes times 9. So yeah, probably about close to 15 hours. So a good amount of content in all of the missions. Now, the base campaign is longer. Bones of Arnor is longer, and Shadowed Paths are all longer than this one. However, I would have to say that I do think that The Haunting of Dale is probably the most replayable out of all of them. And the reason for that is you don't get to experience the exact same sequence of events. Now, hopefully some stuff changes up. There are a few missions that are static in the game, for lack of a better word. And one in particular, if that doesn't change, that'll be sort of a downer when you replay it, because the first turn you're pretty much going to be like, oh, boop. You can, you can just do the things to boost your lore because you want better gear, and then reveal the culprit.
So yes, I don't have really. I mean, we can talk about if you can add if you want anything else. There is one. We did have to restart. I mean, as with any app.
Yes, well,
we had a little.
But that's
bit
a new
of
feature.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a glitch.
2 glitches.
I investigated something, passed, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, and we were also opening up a section of the map, and it just vanished. So we had to completely reset the adventure, which is an awesome new feature now, by the way. Thank you for finally putting that into the game, because for those of you that don't know, if you do fail your last stand or the last mission against the boss, your save game will still load up, so you can at least reset the adventure and try again, not have to go all the way back to the beginning of the campaign. So that was a really cool feature, and we used it twice. The first glitch, not so bad. The second one, we couldn't be resolved. It is when the king is poisoned, the bush does not work. Hopefully that's something
that's quite the spoiler you just put out there now.
It doesn't work. I just saying it doesn't work.
No, you said what happened to the king.
Oh, well, it's that mission. But it's not like it's a big spoiler, because it's not like something happens or a sequence of events. It's a static mission. In any case, it's a review, yes. So you're going to have a little bit of spoilers.
So that being said, I'm going to say the one thing that I didn't like, and I mean, we've talked about it in different campaigns. The big bad never dies just once. Obviously has to die more than once before the game is truly over. That being said, this last campaign was just stupid. The number of monsters that were spawned. I mean, I get that we're supposed to have more monsters than we can deal with. It's a question of surviving. But this was just stupid.
There was definitely a few things. Sorry to cut you off.
I was going to say, I don't know what you think about it.
No, I agree with you. There was a few things that we could have done to have spread them out more, and that's something that we didn't do. But we didn't have a lot of option. It was spread them out more, let more of them into Dale at the same time.
But
No, but I'm getting to that. I was going to agree with you. The way that it worked out, though, because we couldn't have them all spread out, they got all clumped and piled together to the point where if Julie wanted to engage Ursa for the last battle with both of her characters, she literally would have had to provoke what? 6 enemies to move there with Iron One. The chances of you surviving to get to Ursa were pretty much nothing.
And I don't think that was our fault either. I mean,
I don't think it was exactly our fault.
The monsters tended to spawn. We had everything open.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we had all 3 gates open.
Yes, but we still had locations that weren't open on either side, which meant that the monsters would only spawn in the locations that we'd explored. So that did clump them a little bit closer.
Yes, however, that last time, and it happened a few times, they spawned in 2 spots, not in 3. So there was a couple of times where I was standing with this by a gate and nothing spawned there. And the last time we had nobody up at one gate, but one thing spawned there and 12 things spawned somewhere else. So
I'm agreeing with you.
It's bad luck. The app doesn't know where we are, but it definitely did not feel it felt like overkill, and it didn't feel very balanced. That being said, we still had lots of fun.
Yeah, we won by luck, by the way.
We're not going to say why. We still won. But it's fun. It's more Lord of the Rings. We've enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite games. To be very honest, we picked it up and we played it that day, I believe, right? Every other game we had on the schedule.
No, we did not play it that day. We played it about 3 days later.
Okay. The next game we played, basically.
Yes, she made it jump the queue.
I didn't. I mean, Jason asked me about 6 times what he wanted us to play, and I knew that the answer I was giving him was not the answer that he wanted. But we ended up playing that one because,
happy wife, happy life. And the main reason why I didn't want to play it is because we were busy, and I was like, are we going to be able to get this done in time for the review? And lo and behold, we somehow did it. If this was a 14-mission campaign, we got to play everything, there was no way we would have finished.
Welcome to the behind the scenes of having a YouTube channel. Our game schedule is determined by what we're reviewing, not what we want to play.
Well,
sometimes
a little bit of both.
Mostly it's what we need to review.
Well, it depends if we've got review copies or the new hotness, because face it, you guys like to watch the new hotness, so that tends to be what hits the channel a little bit faster than some other things, like Eldritch Horror. That took a while to get to the table.
So do you have anything to add?
I got a few things to add. So lots of nice upgrades to the app itself. I had a lot of fun playing Elena. She was a lot better than I expected. Probably would have picked a knife instead of a dagger for her, though. But I think her agility was low. I'd have to double check. So overall, I have to say all the classes are great. Everything's balanced. We've got a fantastic new campaign. It's very thematic to the shades and invokes the feeling of being once again in the world of the Lord of the Rings. It was great to go to the foot of Erebor and have this quest that sort of follows up on what you did in Shadow Pass, with going through Mirkwood and as well as Moria, and then sort of continuing on from that location to see the resettled city of Dale. And I really love where this story is going. This is it's probably our most played game now, actually, by far. This has gotten 60 plays. We played every single campaign. And I have to say, this might be my favorite. I'm not sure if it's my favorite one, but the replayable aspects of it, everything besides the final mission, where definitely felt like we were getting overwhelmed, and we won because we made a good choice, and that's about all I will say. Otherwise, it was oof. We might still have won, but we might have had to restart the entire thing. And what I have to say is, storytelling-wise, there's a lot of little elements that I was really happy to see them include. I do think there were some glitches, though, because at one point they're talking to Balin, who wasn't there. But it was nice to see that the different characters could be recognized by the app and also have some direct interaction. What was also very cool was just the fact that out of all the campaigns that we played, I don't think we had as much sort of mystery and investigation. This felt more like an adventure game. Whereas I would say the first one is definitely an exploration adventure, but it's more of a dungeon crawl, I would say. It's combat, maybe interacting with people, and that's changed over time. But with this one, there was whole missions where we spent at least, 50% of it, if not the entire thing, almost doing investigations and figuring things out before we even encountered a single enemy. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. And once again, it's not about the enemies. Focus on your objectives. And lore is everything. Leveling up early definitely made a very big difference for us on our plays of the game. So I think that's all I really have to say. There's nothing necessarily negative besides a few glitches. If you like the Journeys in Middle-earth, you will like the Haunting of Dale. It's more of the same and has a good, better story than the original game. Ironically enough, I think the base campaign is the weakest. Every single story as it's gone on has gotten better. I think Shadowed Past might be the best one, though, because the Balrog shows up. Balrog, Gandalf.
Well, I'm ready to give this my rating.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm still giving this an 8. I still think that this is a worthwhile expansion. I think the story, it just makes lots of sense. I think if you enjoyed the base game, you definitely want to have this expansion.
No, and I agree with you. This is definitely an 8. It's a solid expansion. It's basically, you know what, I'm going to say it. All of these extra campaigns, I think, so far, until FFG lets us down, are must-have expansions. We love this game. We're going to keep playing it. It's probably going to be, another year, and then we're going to have, 2 campaigns to play back-to-back. The only criticism I forgot to mention, please, FFG, space out the campaigns. Spring and fall would be nice. I don't need, August, October. Get my Lord of the Rings dose in, every 6 months. That'd be nice. So, what time is it now, Julie?
Well, it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
You can also take a look down below in the video description. You will find links to all of our social media feeds. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're going to be putting out pictures of Journeys in Middle-earth probably over the next couple of weeks. So you'll eventually get to see the picture of us saying, hey, we are overwhelmed with enemies on that last mission. If you don't want spoilers, well, check them out after you've actually played through the game.
Now it's time to grab our drinks.
Well,
oh no. What?
Jumped a little ahead. And then before we grab our drinks, we're going to have videos popping up in front of us. The one in front of me is going to take you to our most recently released video. I know I threw off there a little bit.
You just looked at me. I thought it was my turn.
And then popping up in front of Julie, you're going to have a link to our review and how to play of The Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. So now what time is it?
Now it's time to grab... I guess I was thirsty. It's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend and fellow.
Okay, keep playing games.
Definitely going to keep playing this one. I wonder what the next campaign is going to be. Probably a big box, figure pack. I really don't know.
Have we had a dragon? Have we done Smog?
Smog's dead.
I know, but...
I don't think there's any dragons left in the world, unfortunately.
That would have been fun.
Well, they could do a prequel.
They could.